Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are the Business Brunch, and we are here to be your working from home team. We are here to help you connect, learn, evolve, thrive, all the good stuff. So
All of those.
today we are here with our usual suspects, Vanessa Ashworth, marketing guru extraordinaire, and Sarah Farmer, the expert in all things coaching and evolving, really just evolving the self, evolving the mind, and just generally making yourself become more of what you should be in life and not listening to others' negativity. And my name's Melinda Ward, and I am here representing the business and consulting community. And yep, today's topic is focused on Vanessa's great area of expertise, and that is marketing and marketing yourself and marketing your skills. And whether you are doing things like looking for a job or looking to promote your own company or looking to help support your company in the media, there's always something good to know about marketing. So jump in the chat, let us know you're here, and let us know where you're from, say hi. And also, if you have any great burning questions that you'd like Vanessa to answer, because I think that will be something that can help steer the conversation. There's so many, like we were just talking before going on air, there are probably more than a million different points to cover. So we can't do that all in the time allocated.
Why not? Why not? Let's get it all done in half an hour.
Because we want to do it properly.
Oh.
But let's prioritize. How about give us a note in the comments. What areas are you most stuck with when it comes from marketing? So
am I allowed to say hello to people already? Sorry, I got
excited. Yeah. Let's roll in.
I pressed the button. Helen's in. Hello, Helen. Nice to see you. A nice description. I don't know what of, but it was all lovely. A mystery LinkedIn user saying hi. Who are you? We don't know. Tell us who you are if you want to, or hide. We don't mind. Andy's in. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, we love having you here, Andy.
As ever. Always great, insightful comments. Brilliant.
Yes. And we've got the lovely Danny Wareham, the bee lover. Check him out.
Happy bees, mate.
Happy bees. All about his bees. And he's bloody good at what he does as well. So afternoon to you. Nice to see you.
So as people are connecting in, don't forget, if you know people who should be listening to Vanessa's words of wisdom, now's the perfect time to get them linked into this show. So share the links, invite your friends, and be sure to keep those comments coming. Now, while you're getting everybody into the room, let's do a whip round and see what we got up to at the weekend. Vanessa, I'm guessing you are almost ready for the big show at Rivington.
We are, yeah. So we had another day of lantern building. So over the last 2 months, every Sunday, I've had between 15 and 20 people come to the house to work to build these huge lanterns and structures for the Rivington Festival of Light, which takes place this weekend. So it's a short week for me ahead. I'm just working 3 days, and then Thursday and Friday I'll be up on the hill installing all the structures for the festival. So yeah, amazing. If you've not seen my post today after the show, go and look it up. I share how we got the huge crown out of the house. It's quite funny because I built it and didn't think about
it. Didn't think about the exit part or the transport part, perhaps.
Yeah. You also see a photo of Paddington as well, which I'm particularly proud of.
Oh, I have to go see that.
Yeah, have a look.
I'm so looking forward to seeing the kind of photos and videos from the actual show.
Yeah, next Monday, when I kind of cleaned up all the kind of the videos and the photos, I will share them all and share it with everybody because it'll be amazing.
Yeah, because tickets are sold out. So if you're thinking of going this year, you're not going to be able to. You'll have to live vicariously through Vanessa's photos. But next year, something to make a plan for. Get your tickets early.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Sarah? What'd you get?
I had a really nice weekend, thank you. Or has also had a horrible shock this weekend. My very, very good friend, Louise Needham, who might be watching, had a horrible car accident.
Ooh.
It makes you realise how everything can change in an instant. She's fine. The car is written off. She's okay, very shaken up. But I just want to send her loads of love. And yeah, that was really quite scary. So look after yourselves, everybody. Anything can happen. But yeah, so that was going on. But other than that, I was, did a lot of being outside. It was really sunny. Didn't do a huge amount of work. Yay, go me. Which was nice.
Look at you now, you've written your book. It's all
Look at me now having a weekend. I mean, I did a little bit on the book because I had to do something on the author bit, but it was fine. It took like 10 minutes. Very, very different. Oh, Louise is in. So can we just say, Louise, please, send, if you're on LinkedIn, send Louise Needham some love. Tell her to get well soon and everything. Yeah. So, and I know this is going to be a really useful session for Louise as well. So glad she's joining us. But yeah, lovely weekend. What about you, Melinda? Tiaras, tubes? I don't know. What did you get up to?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, this weekend was more the DIY sort of weekend. It was painting floorboards in the lounge and that sort of fun stuff in anticipation of a sofa that was supposed to arrive this week. And now I've been emailed that this morning that, oh, it's out of stock. We're not sure when you're going to get it. So, yay.
Christmas, hopefully. Let's just see.
On the plus side, at least the floor painting is done. So, yay.
Very nice too. Well done. Very, very productive. Danny, for me, it was the Southport Comedy Festival and a load of bookkeeping. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing more cool than being a business owner, is the Danny, at the weekend. It never stops. The Crown was very impressive. Andy must have seen your post. I'll go back and look at that. This is Louise. Okay. She's a LinkedIn mystery user. And LinkedIn mystery user again says, thank you, guys.
Oh,
yeah. So glad you can be listening. And the good news is, Louise, you can sit and watch this today. You can't normally because you're working.
There we go.
There's always a silver lining, right? Okay, shall we get to the crux of the matter?
Yeah. So the challenge that many of us have, I think, is we all know that we should be doing perhaps more social media posting from a marketing perspective, not just the selfies of what we did at the weekend. But the thing is, that blank page feeling, that, opening up, start post, bing, and then your brain goes completely blank. And you're thinking, oh God, what do I put? How do I start? There's a million things I could say, but I can't think of one right now. And what's the right thing for today? And how do I even approach this? So I'm sure, Vanessa, being a marketing expert, you face this sort of conundrum all the time. So can you kind of give us some ideas of how you might unblock that block?
How do you unblock that block?
Right, so, you know what I mean? Shift the block.
With a plunger. Yeah. Okay. So this is all about copywriting, isn't it? It's about content and content that converts. And that's what we kind of said we were going to talk about today. So I'm going to look at kind of, I suppose, three different parts of this.
I'm trying to get you.
Oh, don't know. Oh, that's fine. No bigger. Don't make me bigger. See the wrinkles. Oh, that's another thing. Next week, actually, just before we start, I'm going to be 50 very soon. And you see all this gorgeous hair. I'm very seriously thinking about going for a buzz cut.
You've done this before, though, haven't you? You've done the
a long time ago. Yeah. Back to my 20s. It's the real me. Deep down inside, I'm always a skinhead, not in a political sense, just so yeah, I think,
inner punk. Yeah.
So next Monday, if I've been brave enough,
I'll
look very different.
But do an interim mohawk on the way if you're going to do that.
I don't know about that. Anyway, back to this. So I'm going to look at copywriting. We're going to look at the foundations and the different kinds of content, and then kind of helping, how do you find those ideas? But it'll all hopefully help. Just before we start, if copywriting is something you are serious about and something that you're serious about improving, then somebody who I follow on LinkedIn, Claire Parsons, has just launched an online copywriting course. So that's a paid for thing, but she's been working on it for over 2 years. I do follow her. I do rate her. I think she's brilliant. So you might want to look at that if it's something you're serious and you want to invest in. If you want free advice, then another content creator who I think is brilliant and gives loads and loads of long form, detailed, actionable insight is Lizzie Davidson. She's based in New Zealand. She's Scot originally, but now a Kiwi. But Lizzie Davidson, so follow her on LinkedIn. She's always giving some great advice about copywriting and marketing yourself and your business. So there you go.
Yourself. There's this woman we know called Vanessa Ashworth who puts out great information and marketing tools and tips and tricks and great insights.
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So follow us all, obviously. Okay. So the first rule to help you find what to talk about is to know who you're writing to. Your ideal client avatar. Who is the person who you're trying to attract? Once you've got if you've already got a customer, if you've got customers already, then think of somebody who you really enjoy working with, who it's good to do business with, and make that person your ideal client avatar. And that person then becomes your North Star. I know in the blurb for the write-up, we said, how personal should you get? How vulnerable should you be? This person is your North Star. Would that person rate that content? Would they admire you for it? Would they want to buy you more for that? And because this is who you are, this is the businesses you serve. So that is your North Star to guide all your content. So think about your North Star. Think about where they are in the customer journey as well. So if you're just starting out and no one knows who you are and your ideal client knows who you are, then you're looking for the more kind of short, sharp, attract, get attention. If they're further on in the funnel, or you're nurturing them with your content, it might be email and not just LinkedIn and things like that, then they might be more interested in that long form content, getting into the depths of things as well. So think about who your client is, where they are in the buying journey. So if you don't know what I'm talking about here at this point, we did a whole business brunch about how to find your ideal client avatar and how to kind of build up that persona. We also did a business brunch all about the customer journey. And the next thing that you need to know as well is knowing your value proposition. So what is it that you do for your customers? Why do they come to you? Why do you exist to them? There's another business brunch all about how to find your value proposition. So once you know those things, it becomes much more easy to create content.
Can I just ask you a question? With the value proposition, then this isn't just your product, though; it's your why as well, isn't it? So your value, as well as the value you're bringing with the product or service. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, because obviously when we're posting on LinkedIn, it's not always going to be buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Yeah. It's the the like me, know me, trust me, and you've got to kind of hit people on different levels so that they come to you and ask you that they want to buy from you. So absolutely having your own values to guide you in what to write is also really important as well. Don't go with the flow. Don't go with what's fashionable. If being controversial isn't you, don't do it just for the hits. Stay true to who you are. And so your ideal client should guide you and be your North Star, as should your own values. Absolutely. But yeah, think about, as we've said before, what you want to be known for. What you want to be known for. And I was going to talk about this a bit later on, but write down what you want to be known for. Pick your niche and then write down on a piece of paper absolutely everything about that. And that kind of gives you quite a content library to go at. But these foundational rules again. So it's know who you're writing for, your ideal client, know your value proposition, and then establish your objectives. So with the actual piece that you're going to curate, your LinkedIn post, really be really clear on what your objective is. Do you want people to buy from you? Do you want people to contact you? Do you want people to leave a comment? Be really clear. But it's not just about that. What do you want them to believe about you? We've talked again, I did a whole piece on every time you're in contact with your customer in whatever way, just as I'm with you now, so you at home or in the office watching this, you will already have a preconceived perception of me. At the end of this show, or for however long you watch, that perception will change for the better or the worse. So when you start to write, think about, what do you want that perception to be? What part of that belief, what do you want them to believe about you? What do you want them to grow? Do you want them to think you're more innovative, that you're the person to go to for this thing? Whatever it is, what do you want them to believe? So what do you want them to believe? What do you want them to feel? Is an important one. You know, do you want them to feel that they trust you? Do you want to impress them? Do you want them to make them laugh? You know, what is it? And then obviously, what do you want them to do? That call to action. Make sure that whatever content you're creating, there's a call to action there. Otherwise, you're kind of throwing words into the wind, and nothing's going to happen.
What's interesting about all those points too is, even for anyone who's listening and thinking, oh, well, you know, I'm not really looking to sell product or service, but I am looking to find a new job. And all of these points are exactly applicable when the customer is your next employer.
Absolutely.
Because you also want them to like, know, and trust you. You also want them to see you coming to the table from a position of credibility and what you can offer. So, you know, do think about sharing this content with any of your friends and contacts who might be looking for a job as well. This doesn't just apply to business to business or business to consumer marketing. This also applies to job seekers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your ideal client is your hiring manager. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I just say hello to a few people that have popped in. Amechi's in. Hi, Amechi. Nice to see you back. He's in Wellingborough. Andy sent a nice message to Louise. Glad you're okay. Oh, we had a crash as well. Oh my goodness. Glad you're both okay. And Andy thinks you're going to rock a buzz cut.
Thanks, Andy. That's very kind.
Let's see. And hey, Kimberly's in the house. Hi, Kimberly. Nice to see you back. And love the Avatar podcast. Good. And if you want to get hold of any of these, you can get them on. I've got a YouTube channel where they're all stored. Vanessa's got a YouTube channel where they're all stored. Have you got a YouTube channel, Melinda, where they're all stored?
No, they're all on my LinkedIn feed.
They're all on a LinkedIn feed, so you can find it. But if you want to find something in particular, we need to put a directory together. Actually, let's get on with that. There we go. That's an idea. Something else we do and haven't got time for. And Danny says, I heard a great analogy that without the call to action, posting is like shouting into a room of strangers.
That's great.
That's really accurate.
And actually, you look at so many of them and think, what do you do? What do you actually do? And then you feel more, then you just forget the person. So yes, very
good. Absolutely. So there we go. So that's the foundations, really, isn't it? So it's know who you're writing for, know your value proposition, know your objectives, establish your objectives. And then whatever you are writing, the first line is always the most important. It's you've got to do something to stop the scroll. Because that's what we're all looking for, isn't it? Because how do you attract that attention? And it doesn't matter whether it's, that your email subject line, or it's a PR headline, or if it's a LinkedIn line. The aim is to stop the scroll. Now, with email subject lines and with a PR headline, it is more of a headline. You might want to kind of encapsulate the story. What is the person going to learn from the rest of the piece that's going to attract their attention and make them want to learn more? In LinkedIn, it doesn't have to do that. You just want to create intrigue. When you're scrolling through the post, you see the first 2 or 3 lines, then there's that little see more button. And that's what you're aiming for. So you've got to create intrigue. And with any kind of copywriting, basically every line has got to intrigue the person so much that they want to read the next line and then want to read the next line. And I suppose the shortest form possible to get to the objective, unless, of course, you're writing a novel, and then it doesn't matter about short, it's just about taking someone on that journey and keeping them intrigued, the page turner. So there you go. So, and then what I want to, so it's about intrigue and right, obviously, to achieve their objectives, to take them on that journey, and don't forget the CTA and add some urgency. Buy now, contact me now. What did comment now? And in LinkedIn, the easiest way to get a comment is to ask a question, not agree. You don't see that much anymore, do you? When people used to write a post and then put agree at the bottom.
I thought that was so lazy. And what I also find is that the more followers you've got, obviously the easier it gets, because it just gets pumped. And these people are now just putting one word and going agree. You're like, where's your content gone? Why you're not? And everyone's like, oh yeah, I love you, I agree. All right, I'm jealous. I want 200,000 followers. All right, I'm jealous. I'll admit it. But it does seem a little. Like, when do we go from giving decent content to just going, putting a one word up and wanting everyone to love us?
Yeah.
I guess that's another show altogether. Can I just ask you this question? My horse. It's a pleasure. Nice to have you on board, Shafiq. But there was also one from, where's it gone? No, that's not what I want.
So we also, Shafiq, there you go. Is that the one you
We want to discuss content accessibility and usability as well, please. I don't know if you're covering that today or whether it's been done in the past or...
A little bit, yeah. But maybe if there's something specific that we don't go into, you could kind of embellish and ask me more what you mean. But we will do a little bit about formatting as well, to make it more accessible and usable. Usable, especially, actually. So okay, we'll do that. So that's the kind of the foundation bit. Then there are different types of content, and you can put them into two boxes, basically. There's education and there's entertainment. Now, the most compelling content would be to tell a story, especially on LinkedIn. Telling a story creates the intrigue. We want to find out what happens next. We can't, if you start to tell a story, you can't leave us with a question. So you could start with something really dull, like, on the school run this morning, 3 really strange things happened to me. Sorry, I'm turning into a frog. There is nothing more boring than a school run. But if I started a post with, on the school run, 3 really weird things happened to me, you'd be left with that question, what weird things? And you'd have to press see more, because we hate it, don't we, as humans? We can't handle those gaps in our knowledge. We know there's something there that we don't know. So telling a story gets the intrigue. Also, telling a story creates authenticity. It builds that trust because it's your story. It's not trying to sell. It's not pushing information. It's telling a story. It draws us in. It brings us a little bit more closer to you. And we all love stories, don't we? And they're great. We all learn from stories as well. So a story can be educational and entertainment, but it has that intrigue and it has the emotion as well. It gets somebody kind of involved with you. And that's what we want to kind of evoke, isn't it? We want to get an emotion. So tell a story, which can be education and entertainment. The second kind of post is the education part. It's the value, giving something. And I know some people think, why should I give away my knowledge for free? You know, if I give away what I know, then why will they come to me for that business? Why would they hire me? And the fact is, by giving people that knowledge, you're showing that you're a thought leader and you're showing that you really know your stuff. And you might think that then they could go away and use that as their own. A few people might. But what it really does is, most people are busy. And if they're not experts in that, they'll want to hire an expert to do that for them. And if you've proved yourself by sharing that content and sharing how, you're the thought leader in that. They'll have no question. Well, she knows her stuff. He knows his stuff. I'll have a word with them. Let's get them in to do it. So that's why sharing knowledge really helps. And people like you for it. And they will comment and they will share you with their network as well. So education.
If you're worrying about giving out your content, one of the biggest things I've heard is, well, if like you say, if I share that, someone else will use it. But actually, a lot of it is underpinned by, I don't think I'm good enough to add even more value. You don't realize how much more value you're adding. It's not just what you know, it's how you help them use what you know. So, our mindset has to be slightly different. Can I just pop up a little quote here from from Danny or a thought? Agree. I think we're talking about if you've got 100,000 followers, yada yada. Absolutely. There's some other noises such as line structure, 2 times carriage returns for each line. Makes me feel like the writer has asthma. So it's leaving the white space between, just so people can read it. But yeah, good points.
But we'll talk about that as well a little bit, because I think you're absolutely right. Some people take it to the extreme. So there's education and there's entertainment. So you might think, I mean, some people share gifts, and some people think this is not Facebook. But if your ideal client avatar will love the entertainment, sharing pictures of your dog, sharing what you do at the weekend, sharing pictures of nature. It doesn't have to be all about business and giving value. If you're bringing a smile to somebody's face, if you're evoking an emotion by showing your dog, it counts. Again, it's that authenticity. It's letting people get closer to you and to trust you and to get to know you more. So don't worry about things like that.
And finding that balance as well, isn't it? Because like different platforms obviously have different expectations around them. But I've seen some kind of ratios or suggestions on LinkedIn saying, like a certain percentage of your post can be more of a personal angle, but you don't want the whole thing, your whole feed to be personal. But mixing it up actually keeps people engaged more than to just do, business. And if you're doing like every, once or twice a month doing a more personal post, that can really be like, that gives us that likability, that trust factor that, makes this person real. They're not just a content robot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's that, isn't it? People do business with people. We all have home lives. We all have other interests, and adding a richer color to who you are, apart from your professional knowledge and what you do, is important.
Andy's just said there's so much to compelling content. Very useful to have such a clear breakdown. Thank you, Vanessa. One key, as always, is preparation. We can't all be compelling writers, but we can be kings of prep. Absolutely. And what I do is, if I go around thinking in LinkedIn posts, how sad am I? But something will happen, and I can see my husband's going, "What have you thought of? How's that going to be a post?" And I can't help it, and I have to capture it there and then to do it. Thanks, Andy. But also just want to say, Susie's just said, I can't see anyone else's comments. Don't panic. We are streaming from 20 million different feeds. That's an exaggeration. There's about
13 different feeds. So it might be that the comments are happening elsewhere. That's all.
But we can see them all. So don't panic. But just don't. You're not alone, Susie. We're all here with you. And don't forget to hit send, said Andy. And Sarah says, I find it hard to give tips about my profession, other than to my colleagues who are okay. That's mindset, Susie. Give me a call, my dear.
But maybe I can help with what we're going to talk about. So education and entertainment. So tell stories, share your knowledge, share something more about you. But also, and this is key, and you hinted at it before, Sarah, don't forget to tell people what you do and how you can help. There are so many people who post on LinkedIn, and we know them. We kind of become part of that community. But you think, I have no idea what that person does, why they're here, or what they're offering, or how I could use them. So don't forget also to tell people what you're here for, what you want to achieve, because that's really important as well. Oh, next page, onwards. So we've looked at foundations, we've looked at kind of different kinds of content. So let's look at how to write. And this is something that Danny was talking about in the formatting. But first of all, talk to a singular person. You're not talking to a football stadium. You're talking to your ideal client. And also, you're not talking about me, I, and we. You see this on web pages loads, where companies talk about what we do, we this, we are fabulous, we are leaders, yawn. No one cares. Think about that value proposition. Think about the benefits that you bring to that person, because that's all they're interested in, really. No one gives a damn about you. So talk to a singular person. The second thing is, and it's less important on social, but check your grammar. We're all of us, whether we like it or not, we're all secret grammar police. And so if you've got a great story, but then you've used the wrong your or their, it can detract from the message because we get hung up on that word that sits out
Yeah,
of like,
it's jarring.
yeah, it doesn't matter so much on social because we use our phones and we write something quickly. It doesn't have to be perfect. And, you know, there are different people who have different struggles with dyslexia or whatever. And it doesn't matter because if the story's good, we'll read it. But if you can, just check your grammar to stop it detracting from that message. And then check your language. And this was a little bit about usability and accessibility. If somebody has to think too hard about what you're writing because you've used overcomplicated language and really complicated sentence structures, and you've thrown in all the industry jargon and the acronyms that you can think of, you've excluded probably 95% of the readers. So make your language accessible. So don't use words like leverage or leverage. Use and try and kind of take out all those really long words and make it simple. Chop up those sentence structures to make it short and snappy. Break up paragraphs to make it easier to read, to digest. Use bullet points. Use bold. Use italics. Or maybe not italics so much, but break it up and make it easy to digest, and don't use acronyms if you can really avoid it. Because if we have to go off to Google to find out what the acronym means, you've lost us already. So yeah, concise, clear, and digestible. Now, some people will say that they want to use jargon and they want to use big, long, clever words because they want to show themselves as a thought leader. And whilst that's true, the message is more important. And if the long language and the jargon and the acronyms are losing your reader's comprehension of that message, then you've lost them. So go for clarity first.
Think about the intent behind that. The intent is I want to show off versus I want to help somebody. Your intent is all wrong. Sorry to just cut in quickly, but I want to say hello to David. Hello, David. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, another thing too with jargon and highly industry specific terms is thinking of accessibility. If people are using screen readers can't cope with those terms. So visually impaired people then all of a sudden will be highly confused by your message, which could be very helpful to them. So clear language, concise language is never a bad thing. And truth of the matter is, we're all busy. Everybody is busy. And nobody wants extra work, right? So if your message is too difficult to digest, people are just going to scroll. They're going to get bored and scroll on. So short and sweet and concise is always, going to serve you well, isn't it?
Yeah. And Andy's backing that up. Simplicity is a big thing for me. People I've thought as having the best understanding have been able to explain things more simply than anyone. Exactly. No one cares about your widgets and your well, I don't know what else they don't care about. But just keep it simple. Make it. I talk about noddy language. Just put it in noddy language. Make anybody be able to pick it up. So screen readers don't always see fancy fonts like italics, but I'll use those sparingly. Yeah, good.
Yeah, as soon as I said italics, I thought, oh no. I just meant kind of making it kind of the formatting, but not double. And I mean, oh God, do you remember about 18 months ago, people would put 2 lines and then there'd be a massive, huge gap. And then they'd put, oh my God, that was that. Leave, next, scroll.
What was all that about? Was that supposed to help you draw down and keep people's attention? Or
it was.
I think I might have tried that.
It was trying to game the algorithm, I think.
Yeah. To make people spend longer on your post, but pressing see more is enough, really. So that's the formatting bit. So there you go. So you've done all that. We've looked at the foundations. We've looked at the kinds of contents. We've looked at kind of how to write. What we have time? Right, we've got a few minutes left. Okay,
you're powering through.
There you go. So what to write about? Okay, so we said at the beginning, think about what you want to be known for. So when I first became active on LinkedIn, I'm a marketer. There's a million other marketers out there. So I thought, I'm not going to talk about marketing. I'm going to talk about customer journey mapping. So, That's interesting. It's something different. So think about your area of speciality and then pick something within that. It doesn't have to be forever. It just has to be to launch you out. But think about that and write everything you can about that topic, and that will guide you to create content. If you're not a natural writer, you can think about just reading it, just talking into your phone, and then you can transcribe what you say. So that's, like we said about writing a book, don't try and start from the first word, start from the middle and then work outwards. Think about the message and all the rest of it. So that's another way to kind of cheat writing if you're not a natural writer.
Have I mentioned that I've written a book?
You have, yeah. We might have mentioned it a bit earlier. Your book, aren't you, Clive? Is it full of really long words and jargon?
It's full of really long words and jargon, but they're all the same words repeated because I don't know many.
Brilliant.
Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
No, it's perfect. There's a book by Marcus Sheridan, which is called They Ask You Answer. And it's a great book. But the premise is, think about everything that a customer or a hiring manager might ask you, everything about your business. And then write a blog on each one, or write a post about each separate thing.
That's good.
Yeah, it really is. And even, and especially the objections, why should somebody not work with you? Or what will they think? Oh, no, I can't work with that person because, Andrew McCaskill calls it blowing up the bomb, doesn't he, in an interview? It's if you think somebody's got an objection to hire you, then blow up the bomb early, get it on the table and handle that objection. You can do that in your writing too. So They Ask You Answer, great book for that. For other ideas, follow hashtags. The hashtags in your space. You'll see what other people are talking about. You can comment on that. You can then think about that comment and expand it and do a post about it yourself. And you'll see what the people are writing about. Look for infographics about what you do. They're really short form information that are out there that'll give you loads of ideas of things you can write about. And obviously more long form content like podcasts, YouTube videos, as well. So look at what people are writing about and form your own ideas and share your own ideas about that. Talk to people, really important. Talk to your customers. Ask them, what would you like me to talk about? What questions do you have? What knowledge is missing? How can I kind of help you? But also, especially if you're kind of unemployed or setting up in business, talk to people, people who you've become connected to on LinkedIn, not really at the beginning because that's weird. But once you've established a relationship, ask people, do you fancy having a Zoom coffee? Because talking to people, and when people ask you what you do and how you do it, it just evokes loads of ideas and will give you some great content ideas. And it's great to talk to people as well. You're not on your own. So that's all good. Share your journey, obviously your discoveries, your learnings, your fails, your wins, anything that you've learned, anything that you've read, share about that. And a really big one is go for a walk. Just get away from your screen, go for a walk in nature, clear your head, and then you'll find the ideas just come. But your ideal, that's the point you asked about how personal to get. And I think we might have talked about it just briefly, but your ideal client will guide you if it's too personal. And if you want to share something that's kind of quite vulnerable or quite personal, then sit on it for a while. Don't think that you have to post it. Sleep on it, think about it. And again, think, would my ideal client appreciate this? Would they appreciate knowing this about me? Is it going to help me on that journey? Or will it help you with your own kind of mental health or whatever? But be wary of that. Be wary, I think, personal opinion. But sleep on it and think about it. And your ideal client is your North Star, as are your own values. Yeah. And never, ever post after having a few drinks. Don't do that. And obviously, all your old content, repurpose it, tweak it, change it, improve it, adapt it, share something else about it, but reuse everything that you've already used before.
Can I just interject quickly, because just the thought that the other thing is, unless you do something that's really, really going to set people off, like the crying CEO thing, if you write something that isn't quite right, I promise you no one is going to remember next week. It's a drop in the ocean. So I know people are put off writing because they're worried it might be wrong. No one actually really cares. I'll just scroll past and think that was rubbish and move on, unless it's something very meaty.
Yeah, that goes wild. But remember also, I mean, a good point. You know, tomorrow's chip paper kind of thing. You can delete posts. I mean, it doesn't mean they're on the internet; they'll be there forever somewhere. But you can delete posts after. You know, if you kind of think, actually, I regret posting that, go back and delete it. That's all right.
Or you can stop comments if you find that you're getting like negative feedback, but you want to leave the post out there.
Yeah.
You can block commenting.
Yeah.
Can you?
Oh yes, you can turn off comments.
Oh, I wish I'd known that on one I did a while ago.
I remember that one.
I had to remove it instead.
Yeah.
Can I just bring up so a couple of comments. Andy David said, I like the idea of Zoom coffee. Yeah, they're called Zoom offies. Andy, where have you been? They all became the rage when COVID hit for a variety of reasons. Great idea. And Danny has said, remember, everything you post is there forever. Even if you delete it, you can still do. Yeah.
But you can take it off your timeline, can't you?
Yeah, think before posting is probably a good idea, but then don't procrastinate so much that you can't do something. Someone's at the door. Avon's calling, Melinda.
Oh.
Andy says he doesn't get out much. None of us do after COVID. We'll stay in.
So my final point, really, and obviously ask any questions, but remember, there is no perfect post. So don't let rules and ideas stop you. Just post, just write, and you will learn what people react to as well, and that guides future posts. So the best thing to do is just start writing. And if you're really kind of, I don't want to post, get busy commenting, because those comments will guide you, and you'll find your community, and you'll find that kind of inner guidance of what you can write about. But the other thing is also change it up. Once you find a winning formula, don't stick with it forever. Change it up. Do something different. Don't always do the same thing, because people get bored of it. So yeah, put in those personal posts. Try something new, and just enjoy it. Surprise and delight.
Oh.
There you go.
Well done. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we know there is so much more. And actually, everything you said, it's a bit like when people say don't worry about giving content. You've told us a lot of things, but actually now what's underneath this is how do you do that? I'm wondering whether you could be running some courses on this, Ms. Ashworth.
You know, I thought about it for a while. Yeah, I did think about creating a course.
I think maybe there's a little course or two in there, a big course or two in there. Actually, I'll have a chat with you about that afterwards. Okay, Susie. Hi, Susie. So the issue with deleting posts or stopping comments is that people's interactions are lost, and they might be in order that you put. Susie, they won't remember. Honestly, you post and go. I mean, comment and go. I think you're worrying about it probably too much. If someone is that bothered, I'd be amazed. But yeah, I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't overthink it.
And it's for extreme circumstances. So if you're getting trolled or something like that, then it's worth considering.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you do just idly, let's say.
It's having been on the receiving end of trolling, it's quite horrible, but you just want to get rid of those out of your life because you don't need them in there. As well as commenting, you can repost others' posts, but add your thoughts and comments. Yes, repost them, but yes, I've seen so much of that. Tell them where it's come from, say why you're interested. It's fabulous. Brilliant content, Vanessa. Yes, it was. A lot of information packed in there, so much gold. Lisa's in. Hello, Lisa. Giving content away for free will give you credibility in your field. It so will. And Susie says, I'm a bit of an overthinker. I love you, Susie.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying what other people are thinking. It's really important to get it out there. But the truth is that we do worry so much about stuff that actually, honestly, I don't know. I can't remember what I posted last week.
No.
Let alone who commented. I doubt if anyone else can either. Oh, I mean, it's amazing, obviously.
Just other things, actually, just to because don't just post and then sit back and wait for the magic to happen.
Okay.
Because unless you've built that community, that won't happen. The best thing to do is use hashtags on your post, because that might get them seen by people who you aren't connected to. So think about kind of 3 to 5 hashtags to help boost your content in your field. Add a photo. Don't just do a post. add a photo if you can. People love a photo, especially selfies, because we want to get to know you, want to see who's behind the words.
You mean these ones?
Yeah.
Those ones. Yeah.
Yeah, we like them.
Can we just go to photo seconds? I don't need to see. I'm going to sound like such an old woman. I don't need to see you in a short dress, high heels, and boobs out every single post. Not you personally, Vanessa. I mean, I could always see that.
Again, your ideal client.
Yes, exactly.
Will guide you there.
So don't be fooled by this is working for some people because they're a lot younger, but also because they're attracting a different client base. But just move on from it if it's not your thing. But use your photos carefully.
Yes.
Otherwise, it gets a little bit repetitive.
Well, our time
ideal
has gone by
client is
so fast. Do you have any final thought for us, Vanessa?
And then the other thing is, again, don't just expect your post to fly. Before you post, get busy in the comments with other people, then post, and then stay busy in comments on other people's posts, because that will potentially get those people to see your post too, and they will reciprocate. LinkedIn is very much a reciprocal thing. We give, and people give back. And obviously it's getting people's comments on your post that will make them more visible to their network as well. Not that necessarily is the content that converts.
No.
The conversion happens in the comments, in the direct messages, doesn't it, or the phone call, or
Can we please all go to David Lomas's account and just see his pictures, because I'm delighted.
And I bet you look fabulous, David.
Absolutely. And damn it, he's got his skirt and heels ready. Well, I hope you've shaved your legs, although who cares these days? Which thanks very much, Sarah. Vanessa Piers, I'll keep my... I think we've missed the point for today, but I
love it.
Vanessa, you've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who chimed in on the comments as well. It's really nice to have you here.
We'll see you all next week. Next week we have a fabulous guest whose name's just completely gone out of my head. Why has that happened to me? Mr. Priestley. There we go.
Oh, brilliant.
Daniel Priestley.
And he's going to be talking about all things leadership, and we're going to have a great conversation with him. Join us next week as well. So nice to have a guest. We'll let you know what's coming up on that show. And Susie says thank you, and just get that one up. There we go. Not supposed to, but adding the comments. Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. We've got to go, but thanks for joining us. We'll see you all next week.
Join us next week, everybody.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.